Okay, I'm out here laying on the side of the road, just giving the bike another cool down. Just reflecting back on the time I've had it. I've probably put about, I don't know, close on 200 kilometres on the bike as of now. The bike's running still really nice and sweet. I haven't had any drama with it whatsoever, so it's firing along quite nicely. And you know, I've got over the honeymoon period, you could say, like the excitement from the start and all stuff like that. So it's I'm just getting on it now and riding it along. There's 80, 90 on the occasional 100 kilometre an hour run with it. It's I'm finding it a pretty easy bike to ride, virtually drama free. Just point it down the road and ride it. I'm almost classing it now like I don't know, a Japanese Indian bike or something to that effect now, because it just doesn't just doesn't appear to me like a that I'm riding now a Royal Enfield. I think Royal Enfield with this particular bike has upgraded or notched it up a bit, and in doing so it's gone away the thought now that you know, you go out on the bike with maybe the thought of what's going to happen, and is it going to break down, or how far you're going to get, and all those things I used to think about before and stuff like that. I really think now with this first of the series of the new breed, you could say, I wouldn't call the Himalayan the start of the new breed, because I don't know, it never ever appealed to me much to start off with. So, you know, I never ever went into the shop and said, geez, I'd like to buy a Himalayan. But maybe if they came out with fuel injection, that may be a different story, but the carby one never appealed to me. And in Australia, well, the story goes to bring it in with fuel injection, and that's going to rip the price up $1,000, so that puts it into around $7,000 right away, and it might be competing with other bikes, which would give it a workout. But saying that, this is about the Interceptor, not a Himalayan, so but you know, I'd say overall, you know, like I've got, you know, the pickup was exciting. If you watched me first reviews, that was genuine excitement from the thrill of getting on it, and you know, knowing how big of improvement. Like all things, you get used to it after a while, and you know, things you get used to and stuff like that. And as far as things go like that, well, like all things, you calm down, and when you get on the ride a few times, you just learn to expect it. And you know, you go over there now and you press a button, it starts, you go through the gears and they go in all right. You don't get any false neutrals or any other things that you were used to. Once you forget about that side of it, and all those memories will come flooding back to me for sure when I jump on the C5 and start riding that, and then I'll be thinking, oh well, maybe I should have been on the Interceptor or something like that, or swing over that way. But I really think, you know, and in Australia too, I think these bikes are now coming in learner legal too. So, but you know, I'd really think if you were a learner and a young bloke, I still don't think you'd want one of these. I think you'd want something a bit more sporty than one of these. But if you're in the 40 plus category and something like that, yeah, well, they'll appeal to you. Now, like all things, when you get these, the excitement's there to start off with, and then you say to yourself after a while, if I had a C5, well, I've got one, but say if you had a C5 and you wanted to trade it in and buy yourself one of these Interceptors, I've got to look at it different now compared to when I was talking a couple of days earlier. And the big question would be, if you had a C5 and you wanted to go into one of these, would it be worth your trouble to get rid of your C5 to buy one? Well, there's a couple of ways to look at it, I suppose. From a C5 point of view, if you've got a C5, in most cases, you're always frigging around with it. You're either adjusting nuts and bolts and stuff like that, and you know, tightening things, maybe doing normal routine maintenance and something like that. If you buy this bike, it may not be the case. It might be just a case of you buy the bike, ride it, and that's all you do, and then take it in when you do a major service and go from there. So if that is the case, and we don't know yet because I haven't been out long enough to find out, but if that is the case, it might be something that you might think's great to start with, but you might look back and say, oh geez, I miss the hands-on approach to the bike, and this bike might not deliver in that side. Or you might say to yourself, oh, I don't care about it, I'm sick of bloody playing with bikes and I just want to get on and ride. At first my impression was this bike's going to kick the arse out of a C5 and they're going to drop in price, and you know, they're going to do a lot of damage. But the more I get on and ride the bike, I now realise, or I think I realise, that these are for two different sort of people. One, this bike here, I would think, and you know, like it could be proved wrong, you know, like they could turn out total heaps of shit. So I really don't know. Like, time will tell, because like with anything, it comes out new, you don't know. But they could turn out really good long distance tourists, and you know, if you said to yourself, if you want to take a risk at the moment, which would you like to ride around Australia, a C5 or an Interceptor? Shit, there's no competition. You jump on an Interceptor and say, I'll take the risk on one of those, even though they've just been released, because the signs are good. It'd be a hard life on a C5 to ride around Australia. I mean, I've driven around Australia almost twice, and I know how far it is, and I know what the conditions are like. And I definitely wouldn't, throw a C5 and say I'll ride one of those around, because you'd want backup and a heap of spares. But this bike here, you know, each time we get on it and how smooth it is, and there's been no worries about any backfiring or missing or anything to give any indication there could be a problem or any drama like that. It's you know, like, it just reminds me of riding the XT250 Yamaha I got there, or the X300 Verzi I had, and it resembles closely to the Honda 500 I had. So you know, when you look at it like that, especially comparing it with the Honda, I mean, that's a fairly good comparison. Like, because the Honda did run well, and I you know, and this one here runs really well too. So when you look at things that way, it's a good competition. I'll just get up here for a minute and look at this view I've got here on top of this hill. Look at that road. Yeah, so I've got to get down here back out of the wind. Yeah, so you know, when you look at things that way, it's you can see the wind blowing all this grass around down through here, and when I head up, I'll be heading straight into it. But not at all. Another yeah, so overall it's just something, you know, not everyone can go out and do it, but you know, if you're in a position where you've got a C5 and you don't want to cash it and you just say, oh well, I'd like to just have a bit of fun on your C5, B5, G5, or you know, you got your old Continental GT or something like that, and you just want to get one of these ones as a better long distance tourer. So if you want to go out and run it, say 300, 500 kilometres, I would say, in a day or something like that, compared to your you know, your older bike, well, I think this is do it quite well, because like out here now when I'm doing this run, you know, it looks like it'd put up quite a few kilometres in a day once you run them in right, and runs along quite nicely. So I think if you're in a position you can have both bikes, that's a pretty good idea. If you're in a position where you want to say, bugger it, I don't care about the C5 anymore, bugger them, or I'm sick of fixing them or tightening them up, or all the other crap that goes on, I'm sick of the vibration, or all the other things what I've mentioned before, and I want to go to something I can just get on and press the button, well, this is a bike I'm pretty sure is going to do it. And just going on it, you know, on my past experience on the bike at the moment, and the only really fault I can find with it, and this really is the only fault I've found so far, getting on and on all the time, is the way that foot peg pokes into your calf muscle. And you know, after a while, and it doesn't take long, just a few things, you just learn to get on that bike, put your legs out a little bit and spread them. You know, like everyone gets a chance to spread them, and you know, it just becomes second nature, and after a while you don't even bloody think of it. And the bike is so easy to ride and that. I mean, I reckon when I get, like in a day or two's time, I'll probably get over there and get on the C5 and take it for a run, and I reckon I'll be in for a bloody shock, because it'll be like a trip back in time, I think. But you know, in my case, I think I'm glad I've got both bikes. If I would have got rid of the C5 and bought this one, after the novelty wore off, I don't know, I may have went back out and bought another C5. I just don't know, because I'm not used to them, and they're just a classic looking styling. And sometimes I had this problem too when I bought the Honda, and I know the Kawasaki Verzi. I got onto it and everything worked that well on it. I thought to myself, well, what am I going to bloody do? Just come out and turn the key and ride it, and that's it. Well, a lot of 95% of people will say that's fine by them, that's what they want, and that's what I thought. But after you get there, going out playing with the bike day after day and coming back and checking what you have to fix, all of a sudden you'll either say, no, I don't want to do it, or you'll come back and say, I miss doing it. And I think in my case, I'm lucky I've got the C5 there, because, you know, when you just come for a ride and you know, you don't get to do that, well, you sort of miss it. Unlike cars, I'm the opposite. With the cars that I've got, I don't like touching them bloody things at all. I like driving them hard or fast or anything like that, and apart from that, I would just rather pay a mechanic to fix the bastards and just make sure they're right when I get into them next time, and I can give them a workout in that case. But bikes I don't mind playing with, because they fill in time. Look at all these grass munchers coming up through the paddock now. Isn't they nice condition for an area that was once in drought? Oh, all those woolly jumbucks over there, those walking jumpers. Can't complain about that.